Services National Commissioner Zach Modise took his final bow from the portfolio. Modise served in the department for close to 4 decades. He started as a probation officer in 1979. When appointed National Commissioner about 2 years ago, he inherited numerous challenges, including overcrowding in prisons, legal claims, as well as corruption. Zach Modise joins us this morning to look back at his career, and he's live from our studios in Pretoria. And Dr. Modise, good morning to you, and thank you so much for coming through.
Good morning, Palesa, and good morning to your viewers.
Thank you so much indeed. Are you getting used to waking up at your own time 26 days later after bowing out? Is it normal? Does it feel normal?
I'm still adjusting. I still wake up too early in the morning. But I'm getting there now.
But how does it feel not being part of the correctional services in Dr. Modise? This has sort of been a second home to you.
Indeed, Palesa and your viewers, I've been in corrections for just over 38 years, and it has been part of my life. And I could achieve what I could achieve because of correctional services. And I was really thankful for the opportunities that were given to me.
And your first job in 1979 was a probation officer within the department. Has it always been something that you wanted to do, or was it just a job? What motivated you and attracted you to this job?
Palesa and your viewers, I think important is the fact that when I applied for the job of corrections at that time, I was at home in Boshoff, and some of my friends were working in the department, and I then wanted also to join. But I was fortunate enough that I applied for a job at the SABC as well. So I said, let me start at corrections and find whether it will be okay for me, and then thereafter, if it doesn't suit me, I'll go to the SABC. Then corrections captured me, and since then I've never looked back.
I can imagine. Oh, well, so in fact you were supposed to be here with us at the SABC, but you chose the DOCS over us.
Indeed. I started in Klerksdorp, and since then I've just been going on and on. Challenges here, challenges there, but eventually at the end I think it was a worthwhile choice and a very good career for me.
Talking about challenges, Dr. Modise, when you were appointed 2 years ago as the National Commissioner, you inherited many challenges, but some of which I think you had already experienced in the Free State while you were the Provincial Commissioner that side. The issue of overcrowding in prison, legal claims that you had to come through, and many other, including corruption. How did you go about tackling them? And in fact, how does it take to oversee so many challenges at so many correctional centers?
Palesa, I think importantly is the dedication and commitment to serve. And for me and my colleagues, it was very challenging. But at the end, I think we did well. You would remember that 14-15 financial year, the department was qualified only on contingent liability. And 15-16 financial year, the department achieved for the first time an unqualified audit opinion by the Auditor General of South Africa. I think that was one of the greatest achievements that we have had. In the 16-17 financial year, we were qualified only on one item, which was a new one, which is capital work in progress. But I believe that with the manpower that the department has, I think we'll be able to overcome that as well, even after I'd left. The issue of overcrowding indeed is a big challenge, especially at your urban facilities, your Johannesburg, your Pretoria, your Durban, your Cape Town, and your Bloemfontein as well, Port Elizabeth. Why so is because there's a lot of people that are staying in those areas, and crime in those areas is also very high. And that's why we have this big influx of remandees at these facilities. And you would remember that the department also had a court order against it regarding the Portsmouth largely because of the overcrowding that we had there and the inhumane conditions. And we're then committed to make sure that at those facilities, especially the big ones, we will only allow 150% overcrowding. In other words, having just 50% over the 100. So the department had then put measures in place to ensure that that overcrowding at those facilities is going down. It's a difficult one, but I do believe that with the measures that have been put in place, the strategies, together with the NEEC, National Efficiency Committee by the Chief Justice, we'll be able to overcome that overcrowding.
Yeah, and fortunately, I got to work with you very closely from our days back in the Free State to here now. And I know the issue of reintegration of offenders back to their respective communities has always been something that's very close to your heart. If you look back now, are you happy with how far former inmates have come in terms of being reintegrated back to their communities?
Vanessa, I wouldn't say that I'm happy now, because I think there's quite a lot of work that needs to be done. But at least the department has moved significantly towards successful reintegration of ex-offendees. And as I say, work still needs to be done, especially regarding your oversight bodies and your stakeholders, who can play a significant role in ensuring that people, once they have done their time, are being put in place and they are able to reintegrate meaningfully and successfully. I think that is what is needed.
Yeah, but in terms of the highlight of your career, what would you say was the highlight in your career for the past 38 years? I know many people would remember you during your testimony at the Oscar Pistorius trial.
But as I have indicated, the improvement in the audit of the department is one area that I think we really did well. We put a lot of effort in that. But also the review of the legislation of corrections. You would remember that before we were a prisons department, and we have then, with the advent of democracy, changed that to become a correctional services. We still have a long way to go, because we have to change the mindsets of officials, mindsets of offenders, but also that of the community, that indeed, yes, offenders have committed crimes, but they are human beings and therefore are able to change as well. So we have to put measures in place. And I think for the department to have achieved that, and still there being a long way to go, is very good, because in South Africa, there's a lot of crime that is being committed, and by our own people, and therefore we have to put measures and strategies in place to ensure that indeed these people are rehabilitated and corrected as we are supposed to. And by that doing, we'll then be able to stem the tide against the crime that people are committing and reoffending. And for me, it is critically important that South Africans embrace these ex-offenders, give them another opportunity, and see what good they can do, because we have put them through programs in corrections, and therefore we need to give them then an opportunity to also come and contribute towards society once they are released.
Yeah, but rehabilitation processes and programs that are there within the different facilities, are they efficient in terms of making sure that when the offenders go back to their communities, they are reintegrated without any hassles?
But I think what is critically important is that at each and every correctional center, there is supposed to be a structured day program, according to which offenders are put through programs of rehabilitation. But I think importantly is to change the mindset of the offender and let the offender develop insight into his offending behavior. I think once that has been achieved, rehabilitation will set in. But unless people start to change their mindsets, it won't happen. So you can put him through all of the programs that we have at your disposal. But if he has not, or she has not developed insight into the offending behavior, that person can again commit crime. And therefore, we talk to the minds of offenders, the minds of officials, and the minds of family members, so that they can also assist us in that rehabilitation. And then I believe it will definitely set in.
Yeah, well, Ntate Modise, we'll leave it at that for now. I wanted to touch on the issue of SCOPA when you recently faced the Standing Committee on Public Accounts on the measures that you had taken there. But due to time constraints, we'll just leave it here for today. I believe that you'll be retiring back to the Free State.
That's correct, yes. I'm going back to Bloemfontein. Once a Free Stater, always a true Free Stater. As May Winky Direct would always say. Thank you very much, Palace.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much and all the best going forward in that Opumulamnat. Thank you so much. Zach Modise is the former National Commissioner for the Department of Correctional Services. We were talking to him, looking back at his career, which spanned for more than 38 years when he started back at the department back in 1979. Well, we're taking a break.